Hey guys, welcome back to my podcast, Skin is In. I'm your host, Renée, and I am so excited to have you guys here today because I am interviewing a world renowned esthetician. I am so excited. Without further ado, please welcome to the show celebrity esthetician Renée Rouleau. How are you?
Hi, Chandelier. Thank you for having me. I love my Esties and I love all the things you're doing. Thank you for having
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for taking time to just give back to the community and share words of wisdom. I am so excited to have you here, especially with all of your knowledge and expertise. Like, it's just insane. So, if you guys are listening, which I know you are, grab a piece of paper, a pen, and get ready to jot down these gems, okay? Renée, can you share a little bit about how you became an esthetician?
So I grew up in the beauty business. My grandmother, Irene, owned a hair salon. So she was a hairstylist and owned the Powder Puff Beauty Shop back in the 70s and 80s. So as a child, I was exposed to all things beauty and seeing, women coming in feeling down on themselves and then having, them get this makeover, get their hair done. She would actually do little mint julep masks for them while they're at the shampoo bowl. But just seeing people walk out of her salon just like a new woman, and that just was had a real impact on me as a child. So.
That's amazing. And it's so cool that you actually had that influence from such a young age. I mean, you've been in the industry over 35 years. What really made you think that skincare was the lane that you wanted to walk down?
Yeah, so I actually did start out as a hairstylist. My grandmother was. So I went to hair school or cosmetology school, and then got a job working at a salon and started like with kids cuts. That's kind of how they start you out after you shampoo for 6 months and then you work your way to kids cuts. And if there's anything that's going to test you, it's giving a screaming toddler a haircut while they're sitting on their mom's lap and you attempting not to cut their ear off. I was like, I'm out. I can't do this. So luckily the salon, they actually had an esthetician working there. And this is back in the late 1980s. And an esthetician, I mean, they were few and far between. And luckily the salon had an esthetician, and I was always like, wow, what is she doing in that room? And so while I was doing all the hair thing, I found myself really gravitating towards the skincare and my curiosity for skin science and all of that. And so my coworker esthetician, we ended up, I then went to school to become an esthetician, and we ended up about a year and a half later starting a skincare business in 1991 when I was 21. So for 5 years before I relocated, or before I moved to Dallas, started my own company, and then now I'm relocated to Austin. But for 5 years, I had Elizabeth Renée Aesthetics, and she was my mentor and my business partner, and it was a skincare salon, and I was just a 21-year-old kid. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was passionate about skin, and you figure it out. So I haven't had really any other than babysitting in junior high school. And then I did work at a pharmacy while I was going to beauty school. But other than that, I mean, I've always been in the beauty business. So, and I love it.
Yeah, and you are really good at it too. You
Yeah.
have done some amazing things that, I mean, we as estheticians who are coming out of school and we're getting ready to start on our journey, this is some of the goals that we want to accomplish. You mentioned having a mentor. How valuable was it to you to have that mentorship and guidance?
So valuable. I think that, the nice thing today with social media is that it really does connect us. And I think when I was brought up, like, it was always like everyone was a competitor. I never felt that way, but that's how people feel, is that if
Hmm.
they owned a skin spa near you down the street or whatever, like it's, everyone's like hairs up on their chest when, on their back when they talk about their competitor. And it was just like, I never liked that. I always wanted to bring us together. And like I said, I had that one mentor, and that was everything to me. And so I've really tried to always bring people together. And like, two of my good friends. One is Joanna Vargas, who's a celebrity esthetician, and Shawnee Darden, who's a celebrity esthetician. And I brought them together and as friends. And I was like, you guys need to meet each other, and they're competitors. And I mean, we're all kind of competitors really, but anyway, and I brought them together and they got along real great, really well. And, we're all friends, and that's the way it
Yeah.
should be. Because I think at the end of the day, what we have to always remember is we need to support our profession, and
Mhm.
we're more powerful together. There was a time, being an esthetician, where dermatologists wanted nothing to do with us. Like,
Yes.
they were like, oh, like they had zero respect for us. They were like, oh yeah, if you want to just go get some cream rubbed on your face, go get a facial, but it's not going to do anything. And, now we have the respect of dermatologists. And
Mhm.
but yeah, we have to stay together and support each other, and anyone can be a mentor. They don't even have to have experience. We all have knowledge. We all have curiosity. We're all learning different things. And so, yeah, let's come together. And obviously, Chandelier, your podcast helps us do that.
Oh, thank you. That's really the point of this show, is really to bring industry professionals together. I think about what I needed in school. And, going to school is such a crazy roller coaster ride, right? You think you have an idea what you want to do, and you end up getting out here and you get to experience and try new things. So I love that you really talk about how important a mentor was for you, especially with all the success that you have found. Can we talk about a little bit running a business at 21 with zero idea of really running a business? A lot of us come out of school and we do that.
Mhm.
We do that. So, what are a couple of things that you think helped you be successful at that time?
So I would say, a couple of things I like to share with people about being young is you're fearless, right? Like, as you get older, I'm 54 now and I'm still pretty fearless. I ride motorcycles and,
Let's
I do
go.
hair. But the point is when you're young, you are fearless and you should use that energy to be a risk taker, right? But I will say working for someone else is like getting paid to learn. So I always caution people. We all somehow, especially this day and age, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, right? That's such a buzzy thing. But you don't know what you're doing. And
Mhm.
so don't rush it, because working for someone else, I worked, I had one job at the salon, doing hair and then eventually skin before I left, but I only worked there for like a year and a half. And I had great lessons there. And one of the greatest lessons was I had a terrible boss. The founder was a terrible business owner, in my opinion. She didn't treat her employees well. She drove around in a Mercedes,
Wow.
didn't pay us Christmas bonuses, and and things like that. And I knew what it felt like on the other side. And so my biggest takeaway was, I'm gonna, I don't like, take care of your people, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so don't rush it, because it's, and then also when you work for someone else, you're building your clientele, and if they love you, they're going to come with you. So the longer that you can build that clientele and build that loyalty, you're setting yourself up for success. But don't rush it, because it's lonely to be an entrepreneur, and especially if you don't have a network, you're just like, how do I do this? And
Yeah.
so I just tell people, slow down, work for someone else, just learn a lot, and then you'll know when it's time to go out on your own.
Yeah, that's a beautiful word right there, guys. I hope you really heard that too, because I think the age old question of after we graduate, what are we doing? I think you can take a lot from Renee's story here. She's been in the industry for several years and she's worn many hats. You've done a lot of things. And I think the path to get where you're going isn't as linear. So you might try this thing, you might do this, you might like both. So you really have to get out there. You don't know what you don't know. Um, can we talk about also being a celebrity esthetician? Because that's crazy to me, right? And growing and being really confident enough to put yourself out there. How did that journey start for you?
So it's actually not that hard to get celebrities. Like, it seems hard, but you just kind of have to be a hustler. But I'll first start with, how do you get celebrities? One is, the greatest advice I give anyone for anything in this life is, you don't ask, you don't get. So you just have to ask. So you just have to kind of find their contacts. You can go into IMDb. I think that's what's called
I think
IMDb.
it is. Yeah.
Find their manager, send an email. I mean, you just ask. It's just like you're cold calling, basically. So
Yeah.
and it's at some point you'll get a bite, right? And when all the stars are online, you'll get a bite. So, so it's not, I mean, you obviously have to, word of mouth is really important, but that's also what I did is I utilized my celebrity clients to say, hey, do you have any referrals for me? And, and that's a trusted referral when they're like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, my friend is having problems with her skin or whatever. But my first celebrity client was Jessica Simpson. And that happened only because my skincare spa was in Dallas, and that's where she lived. And we were like the place to go in Dallas. So I didn't reach out to her. She just came in. But then my next celebrity client, who's still my client to this day, is Demi Lovato. So Demi lived in Dallas. And so this was during like Camp Rock days. And so I just, found her manager's name and reached out and said, hey, would Demi like a facial? And I've been her esthetician for 15 years now. So she moved out to LA. So then I started going out to LA, and then I started getting like referrals and kind of working that market. So fast forward to today, I still, I'm a traveling celebrity esthetician. So, because I used to have skincare spas in Dallas. I relocated my company to Austin 8 years ago. We shut those down right before COVID. So I'm now just 100% product company.
Yeah.
But my hands are on faces about every 6 weeks out in LA. So I do house calls or work out of a hotel. So my main clients are Kiki Palmer, Demi Lovato, Lisa Rinna has been a client for years. And then a bunch of the girls from Riverdale. So Madeline Pesh, Vanessa Morgan, Lily Reinhart, and Cami Mendez. And then also Sabrina Carpenter is my client as well.
Wow.
So, but I've done a lot of people through the years. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm here in my Austin home, but I subscribed to People magazine, and one of my clients is on the cover as Sexiest Man Alive, which is, do you know who Patrick Dempsey is?
Yeah, I do.
I was like, hey, Patrick, because somebody took care of your skin. That's why you're Sexiest Man Alive.
Let them know.
Exactly. So anyway, but yeah, so you have to ask, but the main thing with celebrities is all about trust. So you have to put yourself in a celebrity's shoes. Everyone wants a piece of you, right? Like they want to utilize, the celebrity for their personal gain. And if you can't do that, like I did not, it was 7 years of giving Demi facials before I even asked her for a photograph of us.
Wow.
Like, because you don't ask them anything, like, because again, everybody's asking, can I have this? Can you, and they pitch them things all day long. But when you can be their friend and somebody who doesn't ask them, you don't want to be a fan. Can you imagine if the first time I saw Demi, I walked in and went, oh my God, fangirl. It was like, can I get a picture? She'd be like, so that's the thing is it's all about trust. If they trust you, they will be loyal. But if they can sense things when they know that you're just trying to use them for something and you're out. So it's all about trust. Never ask them for anything. Because organically you'll get something out of it, but just, you got to lay low.
Yeah, it's a long game for sure, I'd imagine, just being strategic. And also, as a service provider, that is what we come to do. We want to provide this amazing experience. And something that really stuck out to me when you were just speaking was about how your spa was the go-to place. So you had already built that credibility. You had already built that foundation of being someone who was educated and knowledgeable. So there was a level of trust that was probably already there a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because sometimes we're trying to reach a level that's up here, but right now we're here, and that's not a bad thing. That's just where we are. So you could apply that same concept to a client that you just have, like a regular, amazing client. If we treated all of our clients like celebrity clients, right? That might make a huge difference.
Yeah. So to me, it's about, we all want to be booked solid all day long, every day of the week, but that's hard to do. So it's all about quality versus quantity, meaning every single client is an opportunity to give the best experience, to have them be loyal to you, to have them send their friends. I mean, and just really treat them really, really well and love all over them, and they'll be loyal to you. Because some
Yeah.
people just like, they kind of treat people like numbers almost, like they just kind of like, okay, in and out, keep it moving. But if you really nourish those relationships, they'll send all their friends.
Yeah, that's something that I'm actually leveraging in my own business is really just word of mouth. Like I did an entire marketing class, and I've mentioned this to my audience before, so you guys know. And I always share anything that's working for me, but what has really worked the most is just asking my clients like, do you love the experience? Is there anyone else that you know who would also love to feel this way?
Right. That's what I said. If you don't ask, you don't get. I mean, so can I take that one step further and tell you
Yes,
my favorite marketing tip that I share with
please.
everyone? So yes, asking for, hey, do you have anyone, that you can send me, whatever. But once people leave you, they'll forget. I mean, obviously someone says, oh my God, your skin's looking so good. Then naturally they'll go, oh my God, go to my girl. But, they're not out in the world like talking about you. So you want to motivate them to talk about you. So this
Okay.
is what you do. So we're coming up on the holiday season. So this is what I used to do every year. Coming up on the holiday season, it's gift giving season. So what you do is you pick your top clients that you love, right? Like, just if you could have 10 of those people, if just exact duplicates of them, you would be happy. So
Perfect world.
pick your favorite clients, 10 of them, 20, whatever it is. And you say to them, hey, you are one of my favorite clients. I love you for XYZ reasons. And if I could have 10 of you, I'd be the happiest camper in the world. Here's what I would like to do. I'm going to gift you 10 gift certificates, 5, whatever the number is, for a facial, for a skin treatment with me. And we'll personalize the gift certificates at no charge to you. And you get to go play Santa Claus and give those out to people for the holidays.
Wow.
And but then you also set up the criteria. You say, this is the ideal client I'm looking for. So let's just say, you're an acne specialist, somebody with problem skin is ideal for me, or somebody, whatever. I typically also say people who have time on their hands to get skin treatments. Like I say ideally, the mom with a baker's dozen worth of kids is probably not my ideal client because she's busy, doesn't take time for herself. Somebody that has the means that could afford to come regularly because, you don't, because so you kind of want to give some guidelines. You don't want just them giving it to anybody. You want somebody who could turn into be a regular repeat client. So you do have to kind of, guide them who the ideal is. And they love it because they want guidelines. So they're like, yeah, tell me who's your ideal client. So then have them, and sometimes they'll have to think about it. So just say, hey, think about it. Think about the 5 people or whatever, and I'll follow up with you. So then follow up with them and say, did you get a chance to think about these people? And they're like, yes. Okay. There is, Jennifer, she's my coworker. She has, this is why I think she would be, they almost like pitch you, right? And they're like, this is why I think she'd be a good client because she's always asked me about my skin. I've always told her about you.
Yes.
So then you give her the gift certificates and it says, to Jennifer from your client. It doesn't say anything like free or, so the recipient is not going to know that the person didn't pay for it. Right. Then your client gets to go out in the world and say, hey, coworker Jennifer, you've been such an awesome friend to me this year. All those times I cried to you about my boyfriend or, whatever. Yes. And you've always been commenting on my skin. You've shared that you've had struggles with your skin. I want to treat you to Chandelier, my favorite girl. And then this is why I love her. And like, they become like your salesperson, right? Yes. So they're out in the world singing your praises, talking about how you transformed her skin, and then they're giving them a gift at no charge to them. So it's like no sweat off their back. And now all of a sudden you get this very curated referral.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am like, that is a masterclass itself.
Exactly. And you always have to think about, it always has to be a win-win, right? So every business, every collaboration, who's winning here, right? And you both have to win. So you're going to win because you're going to get this hand-chosen specific client that you said, this is my demographic and this is what I like. And then she gets to win because guess what? She gets to play Santa Claus, and Santa Claus has the best job ever because
Yeah.
he gets to hand out free things and makes everyone happy. So all of a sudden Jennifer is going to go, her coworker is going to go, oh my God, this is so sweet. And then she feels good because she just made somebody happy. And then this girl's coming, now you have this new client, and then she's going to come to you. And then she's going to go back to her friend and was like, oh my God, you were so right.
I just loved it.
Go again. And also that's the thing about friends. They all love to go to the same place, right? So when they come to you and they're like, oh, Chandelier. Oh, have you seen Jennifer lately? Yeah, she was just in a couple weeks ago. Oh my God, did you hear she has that new boyfriend? Oh yeah. You know what I mean? So it becomes this community of friends. And like,
wow,
friends love to all go to the same place. Like think about when you work out, right? You do whatever, you and your girlfriends all go to the same place. And then you're like, oh my God, I love that trainer. And it's like that community. So get all these people's friends, and that's a way to do it.
wow. And I really love how this is like an intentional, like this is the most intentional, like I wouldn't say discounting, but most intentional marketing strategy, as opposed to just posting and being like, hey, I've got a seasonal facial. Nobody likes it. Nobody engages with it. Wow.
So
Y'all.
giving away, because I mean, think about it, it's your time. So, you're giving away a free facial or, skin treatment, whatever, but it's your time. Well, guess what? Your books aren't full anyway. We all have
You've got time.
right? And then it's the cost to acquire a new customer, your supplies. But again, this is a very specific customer, so again, but that's the key, because you don't want someone giving, just, you have to lay out the specifications of who the ideal client is, and again, you just want to nicely say, like, it would be someone like yourself that really values self-care and it allocates money in their budget to self-care, so that doesn't mean, this person has to be rich. It just means that, somebody who values self-care that would regularly do this, not like,
you're just giving it to a friend just cause. Yeah. That makes so much sense.
I did that. I had all my estheticians. We did that every holiday season because it's gift giving time. Actually, and when you do it is Thanksgiving, not Christmas, because then you can tie in a message. You can tell your client this. Thanksgiving is all about being thankful. And so you say to them, I'm doing this for you because I'm so thankful for you as a client, and you can gift people and express your thanks, thanks and gratitude as well. So you could tie it to Thanksgiving, but certainly for the holidays, Christmas and whatnot, you can do it then too.
That is amazing. Like that is such a gem. I'm going to tell you.
Or New Year, New You. Or New Year, New You. You can do it as like, January,
I mean, you could really think about when you would implement this multiple times to grow your books and your clientele base.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much better than discounting yourself down to the point of not making any money, with no clear target, no clear direction. Like, that is such a gem. I told you guys, y'all are in for a treat. Okay.
And I'm telling you, it works miracles. It works miracles. But again, just make sure you describe who it is, and they will put really good thought into it. And like, they take it seriously. And, but yeah, that was my best marketing strategy we ever did. It worked.
Oh man, I can't wait to try it. I'll let you know. I'll let y'all know how this works for me, because this is just, I literally was doing this on such a micro scale. So this has really helped me see some return on the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That is a huge tip, girl. Also, I wanted to mention, so you had mentioned earlier how You had learned from a boss of what not to do, right? A lot of some things where there were opportunities, and you were voted best place to work.
Hmm.
So I think that's a huge, like, huge shift in knowing there was an obstacle and then creating a place where people love to be.
Yes, yes,
What do
yes.
you think was a big factor in you growing that particular business, right? Growing your business, but also creating and fostering the type of culture where people want to grow there?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, people are everything. Like I couldn't have the company I do today without other people. I have 18 employees. Like I'm not, I employ a lot of people. I'm not a one woman show. So yeah, in 2020, we got recognized as a best place to work in Austin by the Austin Business Journal, which was just a huge honor. I mean, it always goes back to, treat others how you want to be treated, but it's we all know that as humans we are complicated and hiring slow, taking your time and finding people who are a great fit, and when you've got good ones you just love all over them. So just like good clients, when you've got good ones you love all over them, and I do that with my team. And people are with us for a long time, like
Hmm.
years and years. When I had my spas up in Dallas, one of my estheticians was with me for 22 years. And,
Wow.
we had 10-year people, 12 years, I mean, a long time. But I think at the end of the day, I'm also just somebody that likes to make people happy. So that's helpful. And, but just be good to people and they'll be good to you. So, and to me, reputation is everything. Value of reputation is one of our core values. And, as big as this world is, it's a small world,
Yeah,
and
it is.
your reputation is everything. So, yeah, just treat people well. Don't be an asshole. It's that simple.
Guys, it is that simple. Don't just do those things and you can find success, and continue not to give up. I think that's something else that you have mentioned is just keeping going, keeping putting yourself out there, being a risk taker and trying those new things. With your shift from having like an in person brick and mortar where people were coming for services to a product based business, can you talk a little bit about that transition, what that looked like? And maybe not so many questions in one, but also maybe what it would be like for someone who's wanting to go into a product based business.
Yeah. So, when I started Renée Rouleau in Dallas, I started with the skincare spa, so services, and very shortly after, I started a product line. Started with a couple products, and now fast forward to today. To today, we have about 55 products, and it's based on 9 different types of skin. Because I believe, and we can touch on that a little bit, because that's another message I want to talk to estheticians about, is the 9 skin types. So we'll go back to that. But so I started with a product line, and we started selling online in 1999. We literally launched reneerouleau.com in 1999. So we started the online business really early, and no one else was really selling online. Everybody was in retail stores. And I knew this internet thing was going to be a thing. And so it just, every year, it just got busier and busier and busier. And the decision to shut down the spas, coincidentally, it happened to be right before COVID because our leases were out. I had already was living in Austin. Me and my now late husband, we just wanted to change a pace. And so we had relocated our corporate headquarters to Austin. And but we do very well online, and it was just taking up a lot of our time. And so the nice thing about the decision to shut down the spas were that we could affect, we were just catering to people in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And when you sell online, we ship all over the world, and we could impact people everywhere instead of kind of just in Dallas. So we just decided to put 100% of our energy on being an e-commerce product line business. So having a product line, it's evolved a lot. Everybody starts a skincare line now. So I'm very lucky that I've been in for a long time and have a good reputation and have a lot of loyal customers. It's easy to start a skincare line now because there's a lot of companies that will cater to small indie brands with small minimums. But my best advice is like, what's going to separate you from the pack? You know, it's so diluted now that it's really hard to stand out. So I never want to discourage anyone from starting a line, but just it has to have a unique point of difference, especially if you're kind of selling online. If you're just selling to your clients, easy. You do it all day long. You have good margins. You'll make more money, and that's great. But it's really hard to be a D2C skincare company brand now and start it. So, but yeah, but whatever your philosophy is, you know, and working with skin and things you've learned, incorporate that story into your line if you want to start it. But yeah, so we do very well online. But we actually, breaking news, we are actually exploring the opportunity of having our line sold to estheticians. And we've never done that before. I've had 9 million people ask me through the years. So we are exploring that business model. At the end of the day, a lot of people, want to be in Sephora and Ulta and all of that, but I'm an esthetician and I love my line being endorsed by skincare professionals, and you guys are my people. Like, this is my life. This is, my life's calling is supporting and helping, empowering estheticians. So this is going to be a great opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Well, just so you know, I was going to ask that question too. So I'm glad that you shared that. That is some exciting news. I can't wait. Because yeah, of course you want estheticians to be on board, and we are, right? We're already here. So just being able to kind of give us and satisfy that itch is going to be really exciting. I cannot wait for that. And then you also mentioned kind of your passion with integrating your passion into what you are trying to push out there, what you have learned, the knowledge that you've grown over your time in the industry. And you mentioned the 9 different skin types, which is so intriguing. Can you share that thought process for me?
Yeah. So this is so important for estheticians. So we all went to school. We were all kind of taught dry, normal, and oily. We were taught Fitzpatrick skin types, and those are all helpful. But we also know that like there's so many nuances to everyone's skin, right? So, and when you go into a Sephora and you buy a skincare product, they're all just kind of this one size fits all, right? And people just want to bucket you into a dry, normal, oily, or a sensitive or an acne or something. And what we have as estheticians that a Sephora consultant doesn't is when we're giving skin treatments and we are literally touching, feeling, 2 inches from their pores, looking into their soul, like we know skin. And the experience that we can give as estheticians at working with skin hands-on is we really get to know their skin in a way that just a consultant at a Sephora looking at their skin will never know, right? Mm-hmm. We make love to these people's skin. We're feeling, doing everything. And so to give a really personalized experience, you also need to really personalize their skincare and the treatments you're doing. And so when I went to school learning about dry, normal, and oily, sure, again, it's helpful, but all dry, normal, and oily does is tells me like how light a moisturizer needs to be or how heavy a moisturizer needs to be, like big deal. But what about the person so let's talk about acne, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of acne lines out there, they're not, what kind of acne are they speaking to, right? Right. Because a 16-year-old teenage boy that's covered is very different than the 30-year-old girl that during her period, she gets one big cyst on her chin. But the world wants to put everybody into that same acne bucket, right? And so occasional breakouts, somebody who breaks out once a week is different than once a month, or whatever. So, and then also like, what if you're breaking out, you're 35 years old and you're breaking out a lot, but guess what? You're getting wrinkles too. So how are you handling that? Right? Yeah. Skincare lines, it's like, sorry, you either have to go down the acne road and dry out your skin and compromise aging, or if you want aging, you need all this rich, gooey, greasy stuff. And, it's going to make your clogged pores worse.
Yeah.
So I determined early on that I believe there's 9 types of skin. So if you go to reneerouleau.com, you'll see them. You can take the skin type quiz. But when you read the 9 skin types, I created them 7 years into being an esthetician. But because I was like, this dry, normal, and oily thing, it's not speaking to anybody. And so when you can use my skin type philosophy with clients, at the end of a treatment, I'll put them into one of the skin types, and it gives like 8 bullet points that describe that skin type. And it's very detailed. And every single client goes, oh my gosh, this is me. Like,
Wow.
And that's the magic you can create with your experience with your client, is when they feel like you understand them and you know what their skin's needs are, and you're not just putting them into a cookie cutter, dry, normal, and oily, or speaking them to kind of generically, you're going to win, because that's that intimate relationship you have from touching their skin and knowing their skin. So I really encourage estheticians to use the 9 skin types as a way to let your client know that that their skin has a lot going on, and nobody speaks to people this way. They don't. Skincare brands don't. Like I said, going into beauty stores, they're not doing that. But as estheticians, we are personalizing our skincare treatments. We are personalizing the home care recommendations. And when you again, look at, these 9 skin types, but clients, they love it, because they're like, oh my gosh, like I've never heard this before,
Yeah.
So I really suggest estheticians use that in their practices, because your clients will be like, wow, this is awesome.
That's amazing. How would they use that in their practice? I'm just curious. Would you do that in like the consultation period or after your
Right.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is, so I recommend people, writing down these skin types, printing it up on a card, some sort of handout, something like that. And then what you do when you're in the treatment, room, you're having an excellent consultation, playing detective, asking 9 million questions. And then you say, and at the end, I'm going to put you into one of the 9 skin types. And from there, I'm going to make recommendations. So like, even if you don't sell the Renée Rouleau line, but whatever products you're selling, you're just letting them know that I'm going to put you into one of these 9 skin types, and everything we do is going to be catered to your skin type. So every treatment we do, every product that touches your skin, it's addressing these nuances of your very unique skin. And they're like, wow. So it's just a great tool.
Yeah.
Your client know that you see them, that you recognize their skin has a lot going on, and you recognize that, because nobody speaks to people this way. And so check that out and use that as a tool, and people love it.
That is really cool. Thank you for creating that. That's amazing. Look at you. You have done so much, girl. Do you ever take a second to think about your younger self, right? And what all you have accomplished? Like, what kind of advice would you give to your younger self, knowing everything that you know now, right? I know all the things have to happen. I know we're not going to change anything. That's how we got here. But what advice would you give?
Yeah. So I think that the biggest thing that holds people back is fear, confidence. And I think that, my life advice would be, I just love Nike's slogan, just do it. Just do it. You know what I mean? Like, you'll figure it out. You don't have all the answers, whatever it is, whether it's pursuing a career in aesthetics, opening a business, being brave enough to ask your clients for referrals, whatever it is, like, just don't let fear hold you back. Like, all of my success is because I put myself out there, and you'll sink or swim. Sometimes I sink. Oh, well, I learned a lesson, but 9 times out of 10, I swim, and I'm like, wow, that was so much easier than I thought it, would be. So, or I mean, that was so much harder than I thought it would be. And it was like, wow, no big deal. So I just do it and just try to be fearless. And, because you get confidence every time you push yourself out of your comfort zone. And that's how you create confidence.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, thank you, Renee. That is amazing. I really love just all of the insight that you've been able to share with the audience today, and all those tidbits too of how we can be successful out here, especially at your level. I think sometimes we forget those core pieces that we do, right, that help us stand out and separate ourselves, because we get in that race in our mind. And I think it's just so profound to hear someone who's doing literally what I want to do, share that, if you do these things, it does work. It works
Yes.
really well. And I appreciate you bringing that.
Yeah. I mean, I think just being the best esthetician you can be. I mean, it's hard because we all go into being an esthetician as caregivers, right? We want to make people feel good, look good, and that's why we're doing it. But then there's the side, we also have to have our business hat on too. And it's like, they didn't teach you really about that in school. It's like, wait, I'm a business owner now. I mean, because even if you work for someone else, you're still building your own clientele, right?
Yeah.
You hustle. And so, that's why getting education and mentorship, listening to your podcast, building a community of estheticians. I think probably the biggest thing that has helped a lot of estheticians. I have a skincare blog that I started, I don't know, 15 plus years. Well, I was doing skincare articles, but then when the word blog came up, now it's called a blog. But for like 20 plus years, I've been publishing these articles, or now blog posts. And I really encourage people to sign up for our emails and read them, because I've had more estheticians say, I have learned more from your blog than I did in school. And it's hard to find continuing education out there. I mean, I saw you in Miami, and Circadia does a great job with their university and all that. But we all want to learn. And my blog is literally everything in my brain that I've learned that people can learn from. And then I have an esthetician section as well, speaking specifically for professionals. And it's just a great free resource that I encourage people to utilize.
How can they go to this resource? What website is it?
It's reneerouleau.com.
Everything's right there, you guys. So you don't have any reason not to get access. And as Renee mentioned, I did meet her in Miami. You are such a gem. Just first of all, you are really great. She was stylish, of course. And yes. But I just really appreciate how authentically you were yourself. And that just made me really comfortable. I think sometimes we get nervous.
Yeah.
And you just made it so easy just to talk to you.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, like, it always, because, I'm just me, you're just you, we're just living our life. But it's always funny to me when, especially like when you have celebrity clients, like people get kind of intimidated, but they kind of like have this expectation that you're going to just be like, ugh. And we're always like, oh, wow, like you're so down to earth. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just a person. Like, just because I have celebrity clients, like, doesn't make me like a snob, So anyway, but I appreciate that for you for saying that, Chandelier. And I love your energy, and you just shine in everything you do. And it's really inspiring.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank you again for coming on the show. I feel like we could do an entire another podcast, because you have so much. Really? Will you come back on and we could do another?
I love to talk. So just, yes. we can dive into certain, ask your people what they would like to hear about, but we can kind of get more niche in with some certain topics. And hit me up for anything. I love to talk. I have tons of knowledge.
Yeah, I would love to pick your brain about skin science.
We could get more into like, a lot more skin specific things.
Yes.
We could do a whole podcast. I can talk all about the 9 skin types and how to use it as a tool.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Guys, so make sure you are following along so that you don't miss that episode because Renee's coming back. She's not going anywhere. She's going to continue to support our community.
I will support you in any way I can. This is the thing. You don't ask, you don't get. So guess what? You asked and I said yes. So that's how.
Oh, there it is. It's working right now, you guys. Renee, how can they connect with you on social media or online? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, Instagram is probably the best. So I have my personal account, which is at Renée Rouleau. But then we have our company account as well, which is Renée Rouleau Skincare. So mine is, I try to have the pages be different enough. Mine's more behind the scenes and that sort of thing. And then the company's more just all about skincare, but mine's a little bit about my pink-haired motorcycle life. So
And I want to know about all that too. So, yes. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing. It has been really so helpful.
wonderful. Thank you. And also a quick shout out. In Austin, there is the Science of Skincare Summit, which is hosted historically. It's been a dermatology type conference, but now they're bringing in estheticians, and I spoke at it a couple months ago. But I'm going to be on the committee for getting more estheticians to come to Austin. So check out Science of Skincare on their website and their pages, their social pages as well. But I'm going to really do a big splash for estheticians, and then we'll do some gatherings. I'll host some things with estheticians afterward on my own, but I want to get all my esties to come and let's hang out in Austin and let's just learn how to be better together. So
Yeah, hell yeah, that's going to be fun. I
yeah,
cannot wait. That's exciting. Okay, I actually had heard about that when I was in the San Antonio show. Someone had mentioned that they're inviting estheticians and it's going to be this huge thing. And I was
yeah,
like, oh, wow, I need more information. So thank you.
yeah.
I
Yes,
am definitely.
I'll be spearheading all the estheticians, and they also are. They're always looking for. We're also looking for people to speak as well. So wink, 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 wink.
Well, I'm ready. You
No, you
already
are. But yeah, so I'll be hosting something. I want to do. I'm just in ideation mode, but I want to bring everyone to our office and into our lab and do like a playground for estheticians where we can like
Yes.
get in our science corner and play around with products and do some really cool like making of products. And so anyway, I've got something fun up my sleeve. So yes, so estheticians, follow me, let's hang out and we'll have some fun.
Yes, I cannot wait. Well, Renee, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you. And you guys already know how to connect with me. Skin is in podcast or skin is in studios _. Either way is a good way to direct message me. You do not have to go anywhere. I actually have an entire playlist of resource rich content for you guys. So dive right in and, go on to the next one. We'll see you over there. Bye, guys.
Bye.